The single-dollar bill slid across the polished restaurant table like an insult wrapped in silence, and Sarah felt her chest tighten before her mind could even process what had just happened. The dining room hummed with low conversations and clinking glasses, but the moment felt frozen, heavy, unreal. Across from her sat Jacob, a sharply dressed man everyone in Chicago seemed to recognize, the kind of billionaire whose name appeared in headlines about luxury towers and million-dollar donations. And yet, here he was, leaving a $1 tip after she had spent an entire evening tending to him with patience and care. If you had been standing there, exhausted from a double shift and worrying about overdue rent, would you have swallowed your pride or let the hurt show on your face? Sarah had learned early in life that dignity was often tested in small, humiliating moments. Her mother had died when she was 19, leaving her to care for her younger brother Noah while juggling college and endless restaurant shifts. Dreams of becoming a nurse had been replaced by survival, and every tip mattered because every dollar meant groceries, medication, or a little hope for tomorrow. When she saw that single dollar, a storm of emotions surged through her, but instead of anger, a strange sadness crept in. It wasn't just the money. It was the reminder that hard work could feel invisible, that kindness sometimes went unnoticed, and that people with power could unknowingly crush someone already fighting to stay afloat. Jacob watched her reaction carefully, his expression unreadable, while other diners whispered among themselves, sensing tension in the air. Sarah felt tears prick her eyes, but she forced a small nod and thanked him anyway, her voice steady even as her heart pounded. As she walked back toward the kitchen, she wondered what she had done wrong, replaying every moment of service in her head. Marcus, the head chef, noticed her trembling hands and tried to comfort her, reminding her that some customers simply didn't understand the weight of their actions. Yet the humiliation lingered, echoing deeper than she wanted to admit, because it felt like a reflection of every time she had been overlooked, dismissed, or told she wasn't enough. Later that night, as Sarah wiped down tables long after closing, she found a folded envelope tucked beneath the salt shaker where Jacob had been sitting. Her stomach knotted as she opened it, half expecting another cruel surprise, but instead she found a handwritten letter explaining that the single dollar had been intentional, a test not meant to humiliate but to reveal character. Jacob wrote that he had grown up in poverty himself and had learned that true grace appeared in moments when people felt unseen. He had watched her respond with respect rather than anger, and her quiet dignity had reminded him of his late sister, someone who had sacrificed everything for others. The letter included an invitation to meet him again, not as a customer, but as someone he believed deserved a chance at something greater. The next morning, Sarah nearly threw the letter away, convinced it was some twisted prank. Trust had never come easily to her after years of broken promises and relentless struggle. Still, curiosity and desperation nudged her forward, and she found herself walking into Jacob's office overlooking Lake Michigan. Instead of the cold arrogance she had expected, she encountered a man weighed down by regret and longing, someone who confessed that wealth had distanced him from genuine human connection. He offered her a scholarship to return to nursing school, explaining that he wanted to invest in people who carried resilience and compassion, not just business potential. Sarah felt overwhelmed, suspicious, and deeply emotional all at once, unsure whether to believe in a future she had long buried. Weeks passed, and Sarah wrestled with the decision, haunted by fear of disappointment yet drawn to the possibility of change. She thought about Noah's tired eyes as he worked part-time jobs to help her, about the nights she cried alone wondering if her life would ever shift. Eventually, she accepted Jacob's offer, stepping into classrooms filled with younger students and unfamiliar challenges. The transition was brutal, filled with self-doubt and exhaustion, but she clung to the memory of that humiliating moment as a turning point rather than a wound. Each exam she passed felt like reclaiming a piece of herself she had lost, and slowly, the weight of her past began transforming into strength rather than shame. Jacob remained a quiet mentor, never seeking praise or recognition, instead encouraging Sarah to believe in her own worth. He admitted that the test had been risky and flawed, but her reaction had forced him to reflect on his own privilege and the unintended harm he could cause. Through their conversations, Sarah realized that even people who seemed powerful carried invisible scars, regrets that money could not erase. Their unlikely friendship grew into something deeply human, grounded in honesty and shared vulnerability. Sarah's success in nursing school became more than personal triumph. It became a reminder that compassion could ripple outward, touching lives in ways no one could predict. Years later, Sarah found herself working in a bustling emergency room, holding the hands of strangers in their most fragile moments. One night, a young waitress arrived after collapsing from exhaustion, her uniform stained with tears and stress. As Sarah cared for her, she remembered the sting of that single dollar and the crossroads it had forced her to confront. Instead of resentment, she felt gratitude for the unexpected path it had created. She shared her story gently, reminding the young woman that moments of pain sometimes carried hidden opportunities for transformation, even when they felt unbearable. Before the story ends, take a quiet moment and comment with what you would have done if you were in Sarah's place, because your reflections matter more than you think. Years after that night in the restaurant, Sarah returned to the same dining room as a guest rather than an overworked server. She left a generous tip, along with a handwritten note reminding the new waitress that kindness could change someone's entire life. Standing by the window overlooking the city that had once felt so unforgiving, she realized that her greatest lesson had not been about money, but about the courage to respond to cruelty with grace. Jacob, now older and softer in spirit, watched from across the room with quiet pride, knowing that one risky decision had sparked a chain of healing neither of them had expected. If this story stirred something deep inside you, please like, comment, share, and subscribe only if it truly touched your heart and reminded you of the power of second chances.